Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
What a crazy time it is to be alive, ladies and gentlemen, and it is an honor to be living it here with you. We've got McCabe, the acting FBI director, who's getting probed. You've got the Democrats that are absolutely panicking right now in a tailspin. You got Wasserman Schultz, who is in the need of a deep investigation as well. What is she trying to obstruct? And why does she have two different reactions to the DNC being hacked and then her being hacked? And then the Russian narrative is completely collapsing all over the mainstream media, all over the Democrats. In fact, it turns out that they may have entrapped themselves with the Russia narrative. Now, John Podesta has decided to crawl out of his hole and pretend like everything is okay. And he did an interview on Fox, and he was grilled about his Russian ties. Here's that interview.
Do you find it odd that there's been so much attention on the Trump campaign and the Trump associates and potential collusion with Russians when, in fact, it's really the Democrats who have deeper and stronger ties to Russia? I mean, John, I've got to ask you about your own situation, your ties to Russian entities. You joined the board of a small energy company in 2011. 2 months later, a Russian entity directly funded by the Kremlin invested $35 million in the company. Ugh. You were given 75,000 shares in a Russian company, which you failed to disclose when you became an
Maria
Obama.
just laid out more Russian collusion with John Podesta than they have for months with Donald Trump. Keep the video going.
Completely compliant. And by the way, I divested before I went into the White House.
But where did you divest it, John? A lot of people feel like you divested it to your adult children. I divested it consistent with the advice that I was given by the White House counsel's office. And I was
now he's Obama's involved.
Fully transparent about what I had done. And so the fact that you're picking through my emails that were stolen by the Russians and released by WikiLeaks, and creating a story which is not true.
As he just made up a story.
You were given 75,000 shares of stock in a Russian company. You were not given 75,000 shares.
I didn't have any stock in any Russian company. So go back and get your facts straight, Maria. But
That's not true, John. We know that you own 75,000 shares. You're on the board of Joe.
It's not a Russian company. They own less than 5%.
It's backed by the Kremlin.
I didn't own any shares in that company, Maria.
When you stepped off the board, you were given 75,000 shares from Joe Lee.
That is not true.
How many shares were you given, John?
Maria, I didn't have any shares in any Russian company. I was on the board of an American company that did business
now
here
he's dodging the
and
question.
Only here. The Russian company had a small investment in that company. And we can go around and around the tree.
Well, it's widely reported that it's backed by the Kremlin. It's been widely reported that that company.
It's the Democrats that are looking everywhere for Russia, John. Why are you upset that we're looking at you?
When you went into the Obama administration,
Maria, you can keep leveling this charge. It is not true.
Okay.
They didn't give me anything. They had a small investment in a company I was on the board of. It was a clean energy company that was trying to deal with the issue of trying to produce energy, liquid fuel. From a biotechnology process. It was based in Boston. The Russian company had a very small investment in it. And you could keep saying that they gave me
I'm just
stock,
following
but they
all the
didn't.
widely reported information here, John.
Well,
There's also Hillary
Maria,
Clinton, obviously.
Maybe you're looking at widely reported information from Infowars.
No, I'm not.
But it is
no,
not
I'm not.
true.
This is Politico. This is the New York Times. This is the Wall Street Journal.
No, it's
That's
not.
what I'm looking at, John.
No, it's not.
Now he's just denying the truth.
Then there's Hillary Clinton, of course, we know, who got $100 million from Russian companies after she allowed that Russian company to acquire 20% of the U.S.'s uranium. So the point I'm making here, John, is that there's much deeper ties to Russia on the Democratic side than there are on the Republican side. And it's just a head-scratcher that this has been taking all the oxygen out of the room over Trump, when in fact it's been your team that has been in bed with the Russians.
There's the vampire, John Podesta. So, okay. First of all, what a great job by Maria Bartiromo with that interview. She has really come into her own here lately. But just think about what John Podesta is saying here. He's mad that Maria is leveling a charge against him for actual Russian ties, whether they're thin or thick or whatever they may be. They're actually there. Democrats are looking everywhere for them, under every tree, under every rock, can't find anything. Maria points to one here that John has, and he says, how dare you level that charge against me? How dare you make that up? Even though it's all real, and the entire probe or investigation into Trump's Russia ties has fallen completely flat with zero. So it's amazing how John Podesta twists that reality. But then he tries to attack Infowars. He's like, oh, Maria, what are you reading off Infowars again or something? Oh. And she's like, well, actually, no, this is being reported widely by a bunch of different publications. So what do you have to say now, John Podesta? So he tries to attack Infowars or discredit Infowars like, oh, you read that story off Infowars, when we just get proven right at spades all the time. I mean, Alex Jones gets proven right and right every day, especially if you look at a timeline of history. But it's just amazing. So to me, though, this is Podesta trying to put on a normal face, go back out into public, act like everything's okay, even though the Democrat Party and his inner circle is a total dumpster fire right now. So nice try, John Podesta. You're the one that got caught. Maria just grilled you. And, well, those charges that she's leveling against you are actually real. And the charges that they're trying to level against Trump are completely made up and fake. So now John Podesta and his vampiric fangs that are like fanging out during that interview, he can go crawl back into his hole where he belongs. Now, let's move on to President Trump, who put out his weekly address today, updating us on everything that he's been working on this week to make America great again. Here's President Trump.
My fellow Americans, this week I was joined at the White House by American families whose loved ones were killed by illegal immigrants. Many of these illegal immigrants had extensive criminal records and had been repeatedly deported. Every single one of these deaths was preventable. These beautiful American lives were stolen because our government refused to do its job. If the government had simply enforced our immigration laws, these Americans would still be alive today.
That's a leader right there.
That's why, since the day I took the oath of office, I have been restoring the enforcement of our immigration laws and the protection and defense of our borders. These courageous Americans joined me at the White House to call on Congress to pass two bills that I campaigned on during the election. If enacted, these bills will save countless American lives. The first bill,
and the left hates it.
Kate's Law, is named for Kate Steinle, who was killed by an illegal immigrant who had been deported 5 times. This law will enhance criminal penalties for those who repeatedly re-enter our country illegally. The second bill, the No Sanctuary for Criminals Act, will block federal grants to jurisdictions that shield dangerous criminal aliens from being turned over to federal law enforcement.
That's huge.
On Thursday, I am glad to report
two huge laws to make America great again.
The House of Representatives. This represents a crucial step toward ensuring our public safety and national security. I want to thank Judiciary Chairman Bob Goodlatte for his dedicated work on these critical bills, as well as other crucial legislation that will soon be considered as well.
So that's President Trump talking about the legislation that he has passed this week to help make America great again. How could anybody not be behind those two laws? Really is just astounding that somebody could be so anti-American, so tricked, so deceived, so lied to by mainstream media and Democrats and liberals that they can't even get behind those common sense laws that every American should agree with. Wow, unbelievable. Now, President Trump has completely sent the Democrats into a panic. And here in Texas, Sheila Jackson Lee is really starting to show her true colors as a member of the swamp. Here is one video of her that she put on Twitter freaking out over President Trump.
I don't know what to say.
I think you do. That's why you did a video.
Hurt feelings. Mr. President, bleeding from the face.
She's got hurt feelings, guys.
You're again attacking women, professional women.
See, I love how he's attacking women. What are you talking about? He just said what happened.
With all of the individuals.
Sheila Jackson is wearing a green flower on her jacket. Oh my gosh, you just attacked a woman. Oh.
A professional woman about her IQ. Someone who has shown herself professionally.
These people are so triggered. Look at you. You're a member of our government and you do these childish videos on Twitter. Who's the real embarrassment?
and that beauty should be from the inside? Mr. President, when people
Mika
are
Brzezinski's the one that gets
health
plastic surgery.
who need mental health services, and your Trump care denies
Oh my gosh.
billions of dollars
And then
to
she
Medicaid
brings it back
to help
to Trump
them,
care,
and you spend
which isn't
your
even
time
law.
in the morning dealing with attacking human beings that happen to be
Attacking human
Americans
beings.
and
Okay, so
happen
that's
to
enough
be-
of that video. Completely just ridiculous claims. President Trump attacked women on. Give me a break. It's Mika Brzezinski, and if you actually go and look at the story, all he was doing was just said what happened. So, but here she is now on the Hill complaining about President Trump.
I end, Mr. Speaker, by apologizing to Mika Brzezinski, to the press, for the horrible words that were said
Oh my gosh.
about a bleeding face.
Oh.
There is no way
The bleeding
that we
face.
can entrust this law or any other laws to this president of the United States. He has lost the trust, and I will vote for nothing
Oh,
until he steps down.
this woman is, oh my gosh. Thank you for that laugh, Sheila Jackson. I mean, what a joke. Donald Trump she said it could pass any law and she's not going to sign it. So these two laws that President Trump just passed that make sense for America, common sense laws, she's not behind that. So she's officially a member of the swamp. You know what, Sheila, we're gonna give you plenty of time to deal with the bleeding face that you're obsessed with when we elect somebody else to replace you. Now there's Maxine Waters. I mean, she needs no introduction. Here's Maxine Waters again.
Hard for me, even with what I know about him, to think that he could stoop this low. It is upsetting. I've said over and over again.
This is your last year in office,
that he did
Maxine.
not
Enjoy
deserve
it.
the presidency. And I've said over and over again that I do not honor him. I do
doesn't
not
honor him.
respect him.
Does not
and
respect
of
him.
course, the tweet that we're witnessing
There
today
it is, the tweet.
helps to confirm
The tweet.
for all of those who had any doubts that this is not presidential material. He's gone too far,
my gosh.
stepped way over the line, added to
All right.
everything else
That's
he's
enough
done.
for Maxine Waters, totally triggered by the tweet. And then she tweets that we should exile President Trump. Exile. What is going on with these people? Maxine Waters wants to exile President Donald Trump. Maxine Waters has gone completely mental. Now, here's an interesting segment of Trey Gowdy on Fox News. What do you think he's hinting at here?
Comey had access to additional information that I am convinced left him with no other choice than to make the decision he made in July.
So you're
With
saying he
respect
had
to
no
having it.
choice? There was pressure on him to not prosecute Hillary Clinton? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I think he had access to information and he wanted to safeguard the integrity of the investigation and the integrity of the process. And I probably ought to just leave it right there. But no, I'm not talking about pressure. I don't think the guy feels pressure. I think he wanted the public to have confidence in the investigation and the outcome. Even though I disagreed with the outcome, he wanted you to have confidence in the process. He had access to information that your viewers don't have, and they may not ever have because it is classified. But trust me when I tell you this, Martha, I know what it was. And I have been a critic of Jim Comey in the past. But he made the only decision he could have made with respect to appropriating that decision away from the Department of Justice and making the decision himself. And history will be a hell of a lot kinder to him than the Democrats were at the time.
I only take away from that you're suggesting that there were more entanglements between the Clintons and perhaps the Justice Department than everyone understands.
Loretta Lynch.
You're very perceptive.
Loretta Lynch much? Oh, Loretta Lynch. Watch out, Loretta. Okay, now here's Jason Chaffetz. This is from a while back, but they want to say Trump is obstructing justice. But here's what Jason Chaffetz said about his experience dealing with President Trump.
Here's what he said, and I think it's worth noting. He said, "You do a great job. You do a great job," which of course I agreed with. And then he said, "Listen, I understand that I'm the president. You have a job to do. You do the oversight. You don't slow down. You go after everything you want to go after. You look at anything you want to look at." I mean, if you sat there and heard what he said to me about pursuing oversight of the government and the function that we fulfill, you'd be pretty inspired. And it was inspiring to me. And for him to convey a message of don't slow down, go do your job, there's a lot to get after with the government, I think was a good message.
There is. So yeah, sounds like Trump was really trying to obstruct justice, giving Jason Chaffetz basically free reign to look into whatever he feels he needs to look into. But of course, it was all just a nothing burger anyway. And then you have this story, New York Times forced to retract longstanding 17 intel agencies lie. This is the one, folks. 17 intel agencies, 17 different agencies said it was Trump and Russia and hacking. Oh, 17 agencies. Oh, but it wasn't 17 agencies, was it? It happened to be only 3. And when you're being led by John Brennan, how can you trust any of it? Excuse me, James Clapper, even worse. James Clapper leading people into the lie of 17 different agencies. WikiLeaks called them on that, and it's just not the case. Hey, guess what? Guess who's back in the news warning planet Earth about millions of people dying? Bill Gates. Bill Gates says a deadly mosquito-borne pandemic poses a greater threat to mankind than global war and could easily wipe out 10 million. Okay, so that's his latest one. That's not the first time. He warned back in February an epidemic could kill over 30 million people, and then in May, a terrorist could kill 30 million people. What does Bill Gates know?
We've taken thousands of years of known research and put it together with our own 4 years of seeking and testing to find the very best systems that God gave us through Mother Nature to detoxify the body. That's why I'm introducing Z-Shield, Toxic Metal and Chemical Defense Support. It's made in the USA. It's filled with known compounds from nature that are absolutely associated with detoxifying the body, and it supports the InfoWar. It is a classical 360 win. Our formula at InfoWarsLife.com is, quite frankly, simple. We go out and look at the recognized research, and we take it to the next level of quality, of purity, and of strength. Because this is what I personally use for myself and my family. We've gone through 5 or 6 different permutations in the last 4 years since we launched InfoWars Life to actually come up with this. This is the formula that I personally have been taking for over a year, and now we believe we have come as close to perfection when it comes to a detoxifier as you can possibly get. If you're not mitigating the pesticides, the heavy metals, the chemicals, if you're not trying to purify your water, if you're not trying to take products like Z-Shield that are full of known concentrated compounds that help purify our cells and our bodies, you're crazy. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, and you owe it to the future of this country and the world that patriots stay as healthy and as clean and as focused as you can be, because we need you, the remnant of America, to reignite those brush fires to the next level and to be healthy and as focused as you can be. Because if you're sick, if you're over there on the sidelines and not in the fight, you're basically giving in to the New World Order. Thanks to your support and your prayers, together, we're changing the world. Now it's time to change our bodies with Z-Shield at InfoWarsLife.com.